Hello, can we start, sir?
Yes, sir. Wait,
Yes,
wait
sir.
for few
Wait,
minutes.
wait for you. Okay, sir.
Okay, good morning to everyone, all the participants, students, and faculty members from various institutions of India. I heartily welcome to this national webinar organized by Dr. Rajendra Gode Institute of Pharmacy and Dr. Rajendra Gode College of Pharmacy. I am Assistant Professor Sagar Ande. Heartily welcome you to all over here. Okay, so today's our webinar organized on the topic that is behavioral aspect of pharmacist. The important aspect that most of the time ignored, and the peoples already get engaged in the various activities related to the jobs, their entrepreneurship, and so on, but they don't get retrospectively analyze their personality, whether what kind of the skills and what kind of the scenario they can achieve in their lives. So to enlighten this session here, I would like to call here Dr. Anupam Tiwari sir, seasonal HRD experts, who came over here with his 30 years of experience in the various tasks he has observed, as well as he has guided to so many people. Okay, so let's start with this session of today's national webinar. I would like to thanks Shri Yogendraji Gude sir for giving us the opportunity to organize this national webinar for the students under the placement and training cell. I would like to also thanks to our beloved principal and convener of this program, Dr. R.L. Bakal sir, for giving the guidance to organize this. And one name that I would like to share over here, that Dr. Shilu Philip ma'am, DGM Zydus Kedila. Without her support, we can't organize this program over here. So I'm express my gratitude to our respected principal, our president, and Shilu Philip madam over here. And I would like to welcome on the behalf of the Dr. Rajendra Gode College of Pharmacy and Dr. Rajendra Gode Institute of Pharmacy, Dr. Anupam Tiwari sir. Welcome you, sir, here. Now I would like to request Assistant Professor Shubham Garibe sir to introduce today's our speaker to our audience. Over to you, sir. You can unmute your mic.
Okay, thank you, sir. Very good morning and a very warm welcome to one and all for this webinar session, today's webinar session. Myself, Shubham Garibe, working as an assistant professor in Dr. Rajendra Gode Institute of Pharmacy. Today, it's honor and privilege for me to introduce Dr. Anupam Tiwari, sir, for the today's session in eminent speaker. It's honor, sir, to be with you and such a wonderful virtual platform, and having a great pleasure to hear you with your best of knowledge on today's subject, that is the behavioral aspects of pharmacists in that session. And we know it will be a very fantastic session ahead. As a talk about Dr. Anupam sir, he is a certified counselor and a consultant, founder of a region personalized counseling and healing services, completed his master's in a business administration in 1987 and also having a diploma in a training and development in 1999. Also, he completed a PhD in a management in 2011. Dr. Anupam sir also holds a degree in PhD in management and backed with the 33 years of experience, which is an organizational experience with a lead HR and various industries ranging from the precision forging, leather, FMCG, glass, steel, chemicals, and pharmacy. Dr. Anupam sir is an expert in HR, IR, legal, and also for an individual, he provides a variety of customized counseling and healing services. Uh, TIWARI sir is having a expertise in many fields, having a certification in HR, organizational development facilitator, transactional analyst, HR audit, NLP master practitioner. He is also a well-known clinical hypnotherapist and also having a certification in a crystal theta healing techniques. Also, he is an expert in case of talking to a subconscious Lama Fera master trainer and spirit release expert. Uh, Dr. Tiwari sir is also a handwritten analyst, and I also quote that he is a lifelong learner as evident from his academic credentials and certification beyond the academia. So this is a brief and very short introduction from the my side, and I'm very fortunate that I got a chance to introduce such a wonderful and a fantastic personality. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Assistant Professor Shubham Garibe sir. Now it's the time to get enlightened with the subject of today's session, behavioral aspect of pharmacist. I once again welcome to Dr. Anupam sir over here, and I would like to request him to start his session over here. Over to you, sir.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Hello, am I audible out there? Okay, so good morning, friends. First of all, let me give a very warm welcome to the faculty members of this Dr. Rajendra Gode Institute, who had taken a time out to be available Sunday and organize such a big workshop at a national level, organizing, doing the logistics and working, which would require a lot of back work and time at their end. So that speaks about volumes about their commitment. And also, I welcome and thank all the participants who have taken time out on this Sunday to be here listening to this work program. I this would be beneficial to all the participants. So directly before I come to the program, let me give you a brief structure about the program, how I am going to cover the program. So that will give you a fair idea about the things, how we'll go about things. So first, I will introduce the key words about the programs, certain psychological terms which we'll be using so that we are all on the same pitch. Thereafter, we'll cover the topic like challenges in pharma industry, and then the employer's expectations, and then staying progressive. And lastly, I will summarize all the content so that the takeaways are recollected, because what happens is in the end people tend to forget the things and they go away only with the feeling part of it. Having done shared those things, we can have a question answer session. People can raise their questions and I'll attempt to respond to the all their queries as much as I can, and the time permits and the platform permits, those kind of things. So coming directly to the keywords, so can you share the keywords slide? First keyword
Yes,
which
sir.
I am sharing is the behavior. What is exactly? Now you may share it parallelly and I can run. That's not very important, but it might help the audience. Behavior, the way one expects or conduct oneself, especially towards others. So this is a very simple word we ordinarily use in a layman's language. His behavior is not good. That guy's behavior is not up to the mark, or my boss behavior is very arrogant or something of that sort. We use adjectives at times. We use not exactly his behavior. The way we conduct ourselves is a behavior, and conduct ourselves in terms in reference to others. because alone we are sitting idle. So the interpersonal relationship can only be judged, or the behavior can only be judged when we are interacting with others. So the other person gets a feel of the things. Then second is pattern. What is pattern? It is a repeated or regular way in which something happens or is done. This is the definition of the Collins dictionary. So pattern is repeated or regular. So there is a pattern in a behavior. Like somebody gets anxious and then he starts, mumbling or fumbling, or he forgets the thing. Generally, I've seen when the auditors enters the premises and the phone calls buzzes here and there, and the person who has to face the auditor, he starts mumbling and fumbling. That's a pattern in that audience. So what happens is the seasoned person is put in front and the other persons are kept on the back, and then the auditor insists that I would like to interact with the person who actually does the job and all, and then the person is, shaky, and while he is correct in all the things, he is unable to respond or finds difficulty in responding. So these are all patterns. Then what are behavior patterns? If we have understood behavior, we have heard patterns. Then what are behavioral patterns? A reliable sample of traits, acts, or tendencies, or other observable characteristics. So pattern is a fixed way of conducting ourselves. So is the behavior, how the other person sees us conducting ourselves. So basically, behavioral pattern is that that this guy is going to react like this. If somebody gets agitated, he's going to use vulgar language, or he is going to shout, or he is going to go out of control. These are all behavioral patterns. Or there might be a memory loss, something of that sort can happen. Conditioning. Then there is another term called conditioning, a simple form of learning involving the formation, strengthening, or weakening of an association. This conditioning word is very, very important. Understand, a simple form of learning involving the formation, strengthening, or weakening of an association between stimulus and a response. This is the Webster's dictionary definition. So basically, we tend to use this word not too often, but we do use it. Like his conditioning is not good, or what is generally what you would have seen that in HR interviews during the selection process. These are generally the things which an HR manager ends up checking for, because the technical knowledge is generally assessed by the technical persons. And the work environment, physical workplace, fixtures, all the interactions such as with the peers. So how your boss interacts, how the people are there, the warmth, the comfort in the place, the fixtures, the lighting, the illuminations, how the people conduct themselves. Overall touch and feel of the situation gives you some kind of an opinion about the work environment. So these are certain basic terms which I have used it, and why I have used this is the real challenge when we'll touch for the challenge, but let me preempt it for you. And when we touch it, we can again have a deliberation out there, is that in training, whenever there is an SOP or new SOP introduced or for a process, all the employees are supposed to undergo training. And there are n number of trainings, some 50, 30, 40, depending on organization to organization. So very difficult to give you that number. But whatever the number of trainings out there, when these trainings are imparted, it is assumed that the person's behavior will be changed. I'm using the word assumed, but training means change in behavior. And what happens in the training session is an impartation of knowledge. So it is not sure that impartation of knowledge has definitely ended up resulting in change of behavior. So I'm parking this thing here, and this is the actually the crux which we have to deliberate upon, and that's one of the reason why I introduced you these psychological terms or definitions of behaviors, patterns, or conditioning kind of a thing. We can touch base that. Coming to that at a later stage. Moving forward, what are the typical challenges we face in the pharma organization? The first challenge, because first we need to understand the industry. The first challenge from a generic manufacturing or from an original manufacturer, the research-based organization, is cost competitiveness. So what is that cost competitive? With time, because we have, what happens is when the product is launched, you have one set of SOPs based kind of an understanding. Moment then audits happens, and external audits happens, your QA observations happens, and then the market complaints comes in, and then the SOP sets in, and then based on the observations and advices, new processes are put into it. These all entails a lot of expenses, and these expenses in terms of fixtures or process time extended or whatever leads to the product kind of a gap is very less actually. So year after year, you have to have the margin to sustain in that product in market. So so that while your expertise increases over the period of time, like the year one or maybe 6 months or 3 months, your speed of manufacturing that product or the drug would be slow, or the yield would not be as great because you're catching up with the things. As that yield and the performances improves, the new processes are introduced based on the observations and falterings and the complaints and the auditors' observations and those kind of things. So you have to do the expenses in terms of learnings, in terms of introducing new equipment, new processes, or new gadgets, something of that sort. So these are the challenges. Another challenge is heterogeneous. What do I mean by heterogeneous? Like, as the product starts maturing, you start getting small size orders. Like, so you have to manufacture and supply for different industries. So you have to come to slide number 7. That's heterogeneous. So in heterogeneous, the packaging and catalogs for different market is different. So every market has its own kind of a requirement, and approvals are given for that kind of a thing. There's a different kind of packaging, different batch sizes, different uh, volumes to be packed, and those kind of things. The strips are different. So color codings are different. So new orders as they are, which are acquired in the maturing phase, are generally of small sizes and multiple industry companies, and sometimes tenders are coming, and those kind of, so the profit margin or the costing is cut down, and we have to cater to multiple kind of orders. So that means the machine stoppage time have to increases, and that means the switch on switch off time has to improve. So these are another challenges, and these all enhances the probabilities of errors, the possibilities of errors, because you're dealing with multiple variables. And and sustained another thing is serving multiple products, which I captured. Optimizing production while serving multiple products, reducing switchover time from one product to other, minimizing operational overheads, and avoiding contamination or mixing of orders. So these are basic challenges. So this is number 8 I have covered. You may display slide number 8, sir. So, and apart from these challenges, coming to the slide 9, the challenges in the pharma industry is the additional is any kind of additional environmental factors which may come into play. You have to face it and be of service to the humanity. Like this, the COVID-19 has come into this pandemic. The challenge is linked to safeguard the employees, to follow all the protocols as set in by WHO, the government guidelines, and then maintain supply with adherence to SOPs. Additional operational costs would be imposed, and still you have to ensure that your product volume is maintained, your orders are delivered in time, because then only you are serving the society and the people and the market and the industry. And your cost has gone up because additional precautions or emergency SOPs and protocols have been introduced, and avoiding contamination, to avoid contamination, those kind of things. So these are the basic challenges which keeps on interplaying in the things. So basically, what you are seeing is, the challenges. The moment you enter the industry, the challenges starts increasing day by day, day by day, day by day. And I have seen that you have to be on the top to be actually active and in a good performance level. So basically, what we have covered here so far is that the cost competitiveness, which is one of the biggest challenge we have to maintain. We have to see that the heterogeneous products are supplied, different batch sizes, same product, different batch sizes, different products, different batch sizes, and those kind of things, depending upon the markets and the orders and the processes which are allowed in that area of manufacturing. And then the machine are switched off, and the cleaning operations are done, and then again the QA clearances are taken, and then again the machines are start and start up, stop, those kind of things. So the efficiencies have to be there into place. So basically, what I'm saying is that one has to be on his toes to deliver these kind of things, and these are the basic challenges imposed by the industry on the manufacturing or the operations or the employees of the company. not only manufacturing, why not QA and other things. So basically on the employees of the company. And what are the employees' expectations from the employees? So this is slide 11. So the employees expect the employees to have the following traits. So basically here I have tried to spell out the traits which an employee needs to work upon. Like be a good learner. So you have to be a continuous learner. In this industry, you cannot come that you have already learned everything and you know everything. No, every day is a learning. It is a continuous process because every product, every manufacturing batch sizes may give you a different kind of a feedback. So be a good learner. Have an eye for details. Complete all training requirements in time. For SOP to become effective, every person has to be trained. Then reports any variability immediately to the concerned persons like manufacturing or QA or your supervisors concerned as per the protocols of your organization. Be adaptable for change. You cannot complain on the changes. You have to be adaptable to changes because changes are the order of the day. The best part of the thing is the basic thing what we say, the basic requirement is current good manufacturing practices, CGMP. So basically the current thing is, so whatever today is applicable might not be applicable tomorrow. The guidelines might change, or the things might change. So be a good performer with zero error and maintain high integrity. So basically, if there is some alterings have been done by you, or if there are some non-compliances which have happened to it by you inadvertently, rather than hiding or avoiding on it, report it immediately so that the corrective measures can be taken because we are dealing with the lives of the peoples and the brand of the organization. So these things are very valuable. So these are the things. And finally, coming to the things from the employee perspective, why do we join an organization? We join an organization to remain progressive, to grow, and to flourish in the society. While we desire to serve the society, but at the same time we want to grow, we want to prosper, we want to achieve benefits of our labor. So how to remain progressive as an employee? Actively participate in the team and deliver the results for work assigned. So basically, be a team player and deliver your results as per your assigned task. Also be take do your job diligently, complete as per your JD. Don't go beyond the scope of the JD. Job descriptions have to be complied and adhered with. Analyze all deviations and process failures to avoid reoccurrences. The basic part what I have learned is all failures and process failures and reoccurrences have to be properly analyzed and understood. All the employees need to focus on it. This shouldn't be left to the QA only, because unless you reflect and understand on these things as an operations persons, no, your individual learning will not come into the thing play. Analyze the feedback for his hard work and propose actionable suggestions to the QA team and or manufacturing team. That's what I have said. Actively participate in kappa QA reviews, market complaints, and not by participation here. I don't mean defending your acts, rather understanding the perspectives as being brought by these agencies. Here I'm referring QA as an agency and marketing as an agency because they are becoming the voice of the customer or sharing their concerns based on the auditor's guidelines or something. HR to interface and understand the reported quality issues, find the real source of an issue in terms of employees' behavior that led to the said error. So these are certain things. Before I summarize, anything, any person would like to raise any questions here, any point which needs further deliberations, I'm open there because these are the broad spectrum which I wanted to cover before we have the deliberations on this, because I want it to be more interactive. Now over to the audiences for raising questions on whatever I've shared so far. Then we can summarize overall learnings. Hello, any questions? I'm waiting for the questions if there are any, or otherwise I can summarize and proceed further. Even the faculties, if they have any questions for the benefit of the students from their perspective, they can raise it.
Yes, sir. There is a question from the audience that how to secure their first job of their life after become a graduate or the postgraduate.
So look, I have knowingly I knew this question would come, and that's why I have covered in the slide the traits of an employee. What my slide? Let me staying progresses. What employees expectations. That's what helps you get selected. I've like be a good learner, have an eye for details, complete all training requirements, be adaptable to change, be a good performer, zero error, maintain high integrity. So basically, from here itself, if you are a fresher kind of a person, because now this is a larger audience and I could not have done it very specifically for the new joinees only, you have to be a learner. So it's not like from which college or which organization you have studied and what's your percentage only. It's about why have you chosen the pharmacy field? What do you think you would like to deliver in the organization? And are there any learnability traits demonstrated in it? Because an organization has all the resources, we'll all train you, but if you don't have that learnability, if you don't have that commitment to the task, employers' resources will go waste. And most often that's the reason I've seen. I would also see that the employees, they join an organization in a year or a half or something of that sort, they switch over, and not with the great jump. While those jumps are just to justify the moves, they switch over because they get disheartened with the things. It takes around 5 to 7 years for an employee to actually mature in the processes of pharma. I really fail to understand why so long a time is taken. You only have to have the learnability, because best of the trainings, SOPs, everything is shared. And what I tell in my lighter veins to the people is, the most intelligent guy in a pharma company is one who can read the SOP in English and comprehend it. He's the most intelligent because he understands what is required to be done. That's it.
There is another question from the audience also here. When they choose to shift their job from one place to the another place.
I Hello. I couldn't understand the question. Choose to shift from one place to another means what?
Actually,
What's the
the
question
candidate
actually?
want to say must be that probably whenever they want to shift or they want to change their working profile, what precautions they have to take during the next opportunity. Probably they want to say that.
There is no precautions per se. Basically, what I always speak is, if you at all want to change, first prove yourself in the first setup, the organization where you have been working. You should be fully satisfied, and you should be fully conversant with the work environment. Like, it should become a part of your subconscious mind. When you have reached that level where you believe that the product, the process is what's going on, you know everything in and out of it, and think I'm quite kind of stable in your process, then you go for a newer challenges. But if you're running away because you have done certain falterings, or there are some kind of an inquiry going on for your quality failures or something of that sort, that's the wrong way of doing it. That's what I can say. That will always lead you to have a sense of guilt, and you will not be able to progress.
There is one more question, sir, from audience, that most of the time the superiors who are bossing who are there in the companies, they put the favoritism towards their liking candidate. Now this is the challenges for the eligible students or the employees, how to tackle that situation.
I'm finding that people are raising questions beyond what I have covered. While I'm addressing this, I'll be equally interested if some people raise the questions what has been my real topic, because it's like we are going way beyond topic. I really don't know, but anyway, I will respond to questions. You may like to moderate if you want to, or I'll respond. So basically, the favoritism, while we may like or dislike it, what I've seen, and with my exposure in India and abroad also, I've seen that it happens. Let us accept it. Everywhere it happens, the birds of there is a saying, the birds of same feather flock together. So while it happens, so how do you face it? Only a tool or the only way to face it is excel in your area of work. As you continue to excel, because one thing every boss or every senior or every person in the chair of authority would like to look forward is a capable guy who can deliver end-to-end process without his kind of botheration at his hand. So if you reach those kind of skill sets, take it as a challenge, then things are fine. Because he may have a liking for one or two or three kind of a people, he cannot have the liking for 10 kind of a people just favoring the people. He needs to have the working people. See, so there is no kind of hard buns out there. I have never seen hard buns in these fronts in my 30 years of work experience. I always say that challenge yourself, work on yourself, be see what you need to do for yourself rather than expecting what others need to do for you. If you put the locus of control external, if your locus of control is external, or your levers are external, or you want that in the external environment things should change, then only you will become effective. Then pardon me, those great days are not going to come, because every setup, every organization has some or other challenges. I have नहीं मिलता, so that kind of a thing. So somewhere you get something, somewhere you get something. So what?
So there is one another question regarding with our pharma industry. Right now, there are the several jobs and scenarios are open for the students and qualified to persons in the different areas. So, which scenario right now, according to the current situations, the students liking to achieve in their goals? Preferably, you are the eminent person who have more than 30 years experience, so it is will be the better choice to guide them regarding with the choice of their jobs.
I couldn't understand the question. It's too kind of what choice of job, like what role they should look for, like manufacturing quality or something of that sort. That's the question, or what? Pharmacy graduates looking for the pharma industry, and whatever role is vacant, they'll give you as a startup. So what exactly is the question?
May probably they want to ask that India is in a top of the world right now in the situation of manufacturing or the marketing. So which area they would like to prefer to give their inputs more?
I would say that initially nobody should stick to kind of a field. You get an entrance in quality, go to the quality, get an entrance in marketing, go to marketing, get an entrance into production, go to the production, or R&D, whatever happens. Basically, then as you progress, you may look for change in the role within first 5 years, kind of 5 7 years. So what will happen is that gives you a better perspectives. If suppose a quality guy has worked in manufacturing and then he's into quality, he has a better understanding. Or a manufacturing guy is into the marketing, he has a better understanding of the products, and then he can give a better feedback to the line people how to really help work on the processes. So these are the things. So basically, I'm not a role cast kind of a person. My advice is always take whatever comes, unless you are too kind of a sticky on it. Like maybe girls students, generally I've seen they prefer quality, and employers also give them those options. So mostly the most of the seats of the quality control department, especially QC, goes to the girls mostly. So then the boys are less in the QC, and then the QA and those kind of things happens. So it all is like that. Also, I believe that from QC the one should progress to QA, but there are some set of people who directly work in the QA. So it's all individual based and comes to you. I don't think if you become too choosy those fronts, your starting would be delayed and you may not get a good organization. What I mean by good organization is not the handsome pay or something. An organization where the trainings and adherence to the processes are very important. Because if you are working in a small scale and some kind of things are tolerable, then your learnings are not great. Basically, you have to learn and become an expert in the field. Whatever field is given to you, you progress. Unless you want to become a researcher or an R&D expert, that's a different thing. Leaving aside that, all others are like all generic. Hope I have responded to what's the person looking for.
Yes, they maybe get idea regarding with the choosing what they want to do in their life right now. Recently, in the past some years, there may be the chance of getting a job in the R&D section, or the formulation may not be like that one, which is previously in the past 1 decade before. But right now, the peoples are approaching toward the pharmacovigilance and clinical trials and rest of the things. So, how you would like to guide to the students to become much over these criteria or these opportunities?
What I'll say is, progress. Generally, I believe don't stop over for, as a fresher from a college pass out, what comes to you from election process, go through that. And then see what opportunities you would like to go for pharmacovigilance or something kind like that. Rather than, becoming choosing very selective, that can only happen unless you are like a star or have done from some set of organization which is like leading and those things. And otherwise, even that being the case, unless you have that ground reality and understanding, you can't be an expert. While you may know the process, you can't be an expert. I am a person who's hands-on. Like, I believe that unless you have done the thing, you cannot be a reviewer of that thing. To become a referee, be a player. That's what my take is. Generally, others may have a different point of view. I know that because that's what more you work into that, you get typecasted and you have those experiences. But I don't come from that school of thought. I believe in
Yeah,
cross learning. I say gain expertise.
yes, sir. That's a wonderful briefing from you over here. So I would like to request you to summarize your session by giving some of the wonderful thoughts regarding with the today's session. You have much of experience to share with your some of the live examples that you may have gone through that situations also. So we would like to hear from you regarding with your experience regarding the pharma field also, because you have played HRD roles in a various FMCGs, teams, and so on the other type of the fields also. But what is your experience regarding with the pharma?
Like, what I'll say is that in a pharma industry, you get best of the resources as an employee because your manufacturing product requires all those things. A controlled ambient environment, a proper illumination, proper furniture, fixtures, everything is spick and span. Proper cleaning, everything is there because that's a process requirement. So you can say that it's not for me or whatever you want to say, but it's there is given. And you being a part of that process, you also have that comfort of working in that ambient work environment. So feel blessed and having experienced that kind of thing. And also your even from the startup, the kind of salaries which the pharma industry gives to the starting guy line people, ordinarily in other industries those salaries are not available. So again, one should feel quite blessed and supportive in that kind of a thing, that they have chosen the right field. Having said so, what astonishes me is that pharma still is not a preferred field for the Indian society. People generally don't choose pharma as one of the first criteria. I'm using the word generally. There may be with a caveat that there may be some exceptions. Maybe to be very liberal, 1% people may choose directly because their relatives or something would have influenced that. Otherwise, it's a last choice. And over the years, when in my interviews and general discussions and all my own interactions with people, I discovered that a person wanted to be in a medical field, and since he couldn't become a doctor, so he ended up being a farmer graduate. So those people who have an inclination in these lines, they are coming from the medical side of it, that they wanted to be a doctor, and because they missed it out, they became a pharmacist. But otherwise, like engineering or medical field, that dignity pharmacist industry, pardon me for saying so bluntly, it hasn't earned that. But while I see this industry is so blessed, lot of resources are there, you get a good salary, your opportunities are there. In 15, 20 years, you end up becoming a general manager kind of a thing, which in other industries you don't end up becoming. 15 years, you can't dream of becoming a GM in other industries. No, they need more maturity, more kind of going through the rigorous processes. So here, what I'm trying to share is, here the knowledge and the learnability is actually valued, and the talent is actually missing in the pharma industry. And what the real gap is, while the talent is a very big word, and I generally avoid using those jargons or the technical terms as much as I can, uh, the talent, what actually is required is learnability. Or one of the simplest trait, one single trait is learnability. From day one, you should be observant. What is expected out of me? What are my job descriptions? What I'm expected to do? How others are conducting themselves? How I am conducting, or what are the given targets? Am I meeting those targets? How do I exceed those targets? What are my process adherences requirements? What are the milestones? If there are falterings, failures, or feedbacks, what are those? And rather than defending, accepting it, and working on corrective measures, and especially understanding the patterns. So I use the word pattern in one introduction of the definition. The patterns is understanding the patterns of your kappa, or understanding the market compliance patterns. Basically, you have to understand what's going around you. These are the indicators, because when I used to ask people in the pharma industry how do they learn, what are their learnings, they used to tell me that they attend seminars, conferences, uh, the, the pharma fairs or those kind of things, or the manufacturers of the machines, they share brochures, so they go through that. But I have not really heard any person that they understand their network in the pharma industry. They find out what kind of observations have been given online to them, because now there's the information is free flowing. What kind of observations have been issued to different companies? If your company is also manufacturing that kind of a product or processes, or those are some learnings can be picked up from that. Do you adopt that learnings? Do you modify your learnings, or your SOPs based on the observations giving in other industry? You leave it to the wisdom of QA guy only. But what apart from, if the QA guy is supposedly not having that trigger, or is overburdened with other issues, and he doesn't pick up those cues, are you picking up those? That's the kind of questioning I'm leaving. I may not be sounding great to you people, but these are my personal subjective view. I'm ready for criticism on those fronts, but that's my personal take on the things. I always used to put onus on myself. You'll be astonished to hear me say that as an HR guy, I used to take a list of kappas and read it, and try to find out the behavioral patterns, because I say quality is a manifestation of behavior. Product attributes not match, product attributes which are not matched is quality issue. That's the case. And somewhere there would be a behavioral or procedural issue error, that's why the quality has not matched. So that's why what you'll see is in 70-80%, when there is a kind of an error fault finding study happening, there is a general tendency in the QA guy writing a one general term, uh, human error. So what is human error? Nobody wants to deliberate there or go into the details of it. It's left open-ended, but it's written human error. And yes, well, the process is run by only one person who has the wisdom, and that is a human being. Rest all is all machines, which is automated to an extent, and then managed and controlled by a human. So anything, if you say human error, definitely you're right. 99% you'll be right. 1% I'm leaving for a scope of something which is beyond I wouldn't have visualized. But 99% one would be right. Yes, it's human error. So basically, what I'm trying to point out is, and somehow it worries me, like as an as a fresher, as a student, we all want to be so kind of self-focused or so possessed with our qualification. I'm sorry, I'm using a bit negative connotations here, that we want to progress pretty fast. But what about the onus on ourselves to progress fast? It's not about the degree you have acquired so your job is done. It's not about being very choosy so that your job is done. Like, I will join X industry or I will join this role and that. Be open for the learning. Take the things. Yes, there might be some people who have that constraints. No, I want to start from quality because manufacturing demands a different kind of a setup. Fine, go to that. I don't say you may have your likes and dislikes out there at the day one, but don't make it as a restricting factors. Generally, given to me, I believe that you start from anything. Uh, the process is same. But like quality guy tries to understand manufacturing from his perspective, a manufacturing guy tries to understand the quality from his perspective. The domains are different, the roles are different, but the end result is that you are meeting the customer requirement. You are making sure that your manufacturing drugs have their required efficacies and potencies for what you have spelled out in your literature. That's the case. So basically, you have to have a big picture in mind why you have joined the pharma industry, why are you there, what you are serving. And the one question rightly raised by one of the participants is that what's the right time to leave the organization or something of that side of sort of a question. The response which I have shared is when when your learning stops, then leave the organization. When the things have become monotonous for you, leave it. That's the best way to do it. Keep on challenging yourself, be on the toes. I'm sharing with you now, like every day. What's the SOP shelf life? One SOP introduced, one training done, maybe in a month or 2 months time you get another SOP or the same process. So that's the kind of, and the number of product and number of countries and number of processes, number of SOPs, cleaning SOPs keeps on changing, and hygienic housekeeping SOP keeps on changing. Lot of SOPs are there. Like I don't think there would be SOPs for any person less than 40, 50 kind of a thing. You may merge or whatever it is, but the aspect is quite broad and it keeps on changing. So every day or maybe every week you have to pick up some new learnings. And then again the challenge comes is that the training guy would do his best to explain you things and would give you a lot of examples or something, whatever, or the flow diagrams at best he can share or she can share. And it's expected that you have understood. And while you have understood, it is believed that now back at your shop floor, your behavior ends up changing, which is necessarily not the case. Now, look, one example of pattern I can share is I'm reminded. Like as the month ends, generally we end up writing the last month's date. Why? Because we are not cautious. So basically, what I'm saying is you have to reflect on it. What was my earlier process? What's the new process? Where the things have changed? Was the change in the flow diagram? So what would be my checkpoint to check it for myself? In a week's time, 3 days time, you will become comfortable. So it's like when the year ends, generally people end up writing the last year's date. Slowly with 2 days 3 days passing they remember the new date. So similarly when the new SOP you have learned, see where it has changed and where you have to cross check yourself. While quality people and SOP people would have given you different checkpoints and different parameters to check for yourself, but unless you are self-observant, unless you reflect on the things in the process, and nobody can help you. Systems are just there, they can be made as excellent as they can be, but nobody can introduce or replace the human mind. If while doing your task you're lost somewhere or your aspirations are different, you have joined the pharma industry just for the sake of money, believe me, you can't be successful. While money is out there, but you can't be successful because day in day out things are changing, people's demands are changing, countervailing forces are changing. Like one day one process, one thing is right, tomorrow that thing changes and you have to introduce a new thing. Sometimes cleaning your time pressure increases because the stopover times are there. Marketing guys are bringing orders which are of small batch sizes, and your departmental volumes requirements are different. Then only you can bring the break even or earn profit profits or take out the salary of the employees and all those kind of things. But you have so these are the countervailing forces. How do you handle it? And then when you start faltering, then organization out of compulsion starts cutting the corners, like replacing regular employees, like in packaging, putting in low learned peoples or outsourcing those kind of things, and then again the faltering starts happening. So it's a very tricky game where to balance the things, and basically the whole onus falls on the employees committed to the setup in the organization. If you're just doing the things saying this is not my job, this is somebody's else job, like, yes, you have to mind your business because you have to follow your protocols, your SOPs and job descriptions, but be observant, be vigilant, and if you notice or observe anything, share it to the concerned supervisors and people around. Then only your organization, your department, your section would be successful in delivering what it is expected to, which will end up benefiting you at a later date. And since your learnability and processes increases, you will have your own tacit knowledge, what I say, tacit knowledge, or your own checkpoints to help you become a better performer in life. That's what I can say as a kind of a free flow kind of thing. If there are anything else you would like to check, open to you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. It's a wonderful session over here. You're guiding us that whatever the questions comes to the mind in the employees currently are there, as well as the students who would like to secure the jobs in the future or would like to become an entrepreneur. Challenges, acceptance, and living with the challenges don't get monotonous is the one of the keys of the success to become a very happy life in the future. And as well, rather than taking the money as a first perspective for securing the jobs, might be most important is that how you will get happy with your jobs and workings and learnings later on also. One of the thing what I would like to ask to you, sir, regarding with the today's topic, that the behavioral aspects, that once if you would like to become a entrepreneur, how would like to behave with your employees, or we can say that how to handle the organization that the employees will get happy and they may be a learned, and these learned peoples makes the story of the success of your entrepreneurship.
Like, while the answer is very simple, but the process is very difficult. Because what we speak and what we practice, people catch up the differences. When you end up becoming an entrepreneur, if you it's easy to say that I am the boss and you follow the rules and people will follow it. But to become a successful entrepreneur, you need partnering from all the people. Like a person who is an operator in a machine, he knows best of the details of how that machine can give the best processes. Like, I have seen the errors. A quality guy preparing an SOP, a manufacturing guy preparing an SOP, a training guy preparing an SOP, and you will find hell lot of a difference in the same process. So I'm sharing for the new process to be introduced. You ask these three guys to prepare SOPs sitting alone, they will have a different perspective and they'll introduce it differently. But if you ask these three guys to sit along with one of the machine operator and then prepare an SOP, you'll understand what kind of difference will come. Are you understanding, sir? So that's what I'm trying to share. As an entrepreneur, to be a successful entrepreneur, you should treat all your participants, all the employees as a stakeholder, and never cut corners. All those who get associated with you as an employee, treat them as a business partners. There might be times of cyclical times when the employees' salaries might be pinching you. There might be times when your volumes have to be met and the employees have to work overtime. So it's like, the employees have to also forego their social comforts to see that the business challenges are met, and so as well the employees at times have to, the entrepreneurs at times have to see that even if the balance sheet is getting a hit, they need to retain or continue the employees, because the knowledge and the wisdom or the tacit information, those kind of cultural understanding which an employee gains by being associated in an organization, that helps them in a longer run. So that's what I can share. Anything beyond it, if something you want to check, you can raise a specific question to it.
Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening this point regarding with the entrepreneurship or to become an entrepreneur. Uh, that Shilu madam also replied over here, that is the learnability is the key of the success that we had discussed over this session right now. One more question for the students guidance, that how to prepare a resume for securing the first job of their life, that is important for them, because many times they get misled regarding with the different type of the CVs prepared online, or sometimes they have copied from the other people's, but most of the time they miss the writing whatever the skills they want to express in their CVs, which may be the important for the organization, and how to express that thoughts in their CVs or in their resumes.
It's a question in different frame, which I have already responded. The point is you have to come back to the things to show your your personal traits. Basically, for a fresher or a startup, it is all about your social background, your family background, you're married, unmarried, your gender, your qualifications, your age, date of birth, those kind of things. And then thereafter a brief about the project you have done in the organization, in the college. Now what happens is, we cannot ask specific questions beyond what you have, what you know. So basically what we have done is, if we call for a pharma graduate and we ask some basic questions to the person. If the person doesn't know his subject, how will he be selected? So you may write the best of the resumes, you may hire the expert in the resume market, or so he or she can write it for you, but the job would not be done. Basically what I believe is, write a simple resume. For the freshers, there is no specific requirement. It should spell out your personal details and a bit about your project. So only two areas, or rather three areas, are left for the interviews to check from you. From to ask questions related to your project, to ask questions related to the subjects you have studied. If something you haven't studied and the interviewer is asking just to show off his knowledge or her knowledge, you could say that this hasn't been taught, and so I can't respond. That's it. And there is no harm to any person speaking like that. That's what my response is. So basically, because in pharma industry we hire people in groups, 10, 20, 50. These kind of hiring happens. It's not hiring, it ends up becoming sourcing at times. Like and the entrance point is also very easy. You are hired as an apprentice initially, and then you are hired, that organization ends up absorbing you. I have not seen the CV part of it, the resume part becoming a very critical aspect. Only thing what I've seen is that people who have done the project are not able to answer the questions on the project. People who have studied pharmacy are not able to answer the basic pharmacy required questions. You should know your subject. Na? If you don't know your subject, what will do? Just completing the exams and coming with your percentage doesn't actually help us understand that you know the subject. That's like a gate pass. I always used to say these are all gateways which allow my security guy to pass on the CV to me, and then we allow the person to come in front of us to face the interview. That's it. It's like a gate pass. We want to check the knowledge by asking a relevant question rather than going by the mark sheet. Otherwise, we would have asked the colleges that only so and so percentage cutoff, send those people, and those are hired. Finish. What's beyond that? So actually, I'm responding in a way. While the question is how the CV has to be written, I have responded what you should prepare to face the interview. And for the question specifically to how the CV has to be written, I'm saying write any format. There are no dictates on the format. It should be visible. It should not be painful to the eye and not too overloaded. One A4 sheet is enough for a fresher. There's nothing beyond that to share. You highlight your hobbies. You have any, you should be able to discuss on the hobbies. If the HR guy is interested in psychology or the sociological aspects, definitely is going to raise questions on hobbies. If the HR guy is more technical oriented, he's going to raise HR, or the technical guy definitely will raise questions on the project side of it, and definitely some basic. the pharma guy would ask on the quality. And if you want to demonstrate your own intelligence and vigilance, go to the net and see what kind of observations to which industries have been given and those kind of things. So these are the general things you visit and have your preparations for the interview. That's what I can say.
Yes, thank you, sir. One more question, which is out of this our discussion, that is, many times the people would like to shift their current job to the another company, but most of the time their negotiation get failed with the HRs due to just because of the salary would like to what they want expected and what raised up by the HR groups. So how to maintain the behavior, or how to tackle that situation by the employee who would like to switch over his job to the another opportunity without wasting the time or without bargaining more with the HR policies.
Again, I'm saying that all these questions are coming beyond what I have covered in the topic. I really don't know why. So, but anyway, uh, like there is no yes and no answer for this. Generally, HR guy can only offer you the salary what his structure, organization structure allows him to. He doesn't have his own kind of leeway out there, because every organization has spelled out policies. There is a range of salary brackets already given, and new entrants and the experience is so and so. Those kind of things. Their ranges are there. Based on that, the HR guys offer. You have to be very clear what exactly you are pursuing. You want to switch over to that organization to for the increase in your salary. Negotiate that I want this job. If I don't get it, I don't join you. And then if you don't get it, don't join. Finish. If you have that set of special skills that the guy would need a deviation from his higher ups, so the HR guy will take it and then he will hire you. If you have reached that level of competence and your skill sets are so critical, if they are so generic and you have not reached that competency level, he will hire you what generally is offered in his kind of a setup. And if it suits you, join. If it doesn't, don't. That's it. Don't waste your time and his time.
Yes, sir. Definitely, this is the answer for the students and currently who are employed or the many organization. They will get benefit from this answer, that how to make some policies regarding with your future perspectives. Today's our subject, whatever we choose for today's session, that is behavioral aspect of the pharmacist. It is not a single day journey to complete this aspect and discussion. So here today's we would like to conclude this session with the valedictory function. Over here, I would like to express my gratitude and very much thankful for today's session, Dr. Anupam Tiwari sir, for giving his valuable time. I'm thankful to Dr. Shilu Philip ma'am for giving us this opportunity to organize and arrange this webinar by giving some tips to organize this session over here. I would like to thanks to all the participants and attendees for this session who have joined to this session to get learned about this behavioral aspect of the pharmacist. This is not a single day topic to discuss regarding with this one. There are the very much other types of the scenes we can say that over here, that we have to look over for securing the jobs, doing the any kind of the works, or to become a entrepreneur. In the next sessions, we also would like to invite Dr. Anupam Tiwari sir to enlighten another perspective regarding with the behavioral aspect of the pharmacist. To Because this is the one of the leading industry in the India. We are topping the third ranking for exporting the drugs right now, so that this area is very much having the potential to get the jobs as well as to become an entrepreneur. That's the perspective for the today's. Thank you very much, sir, for giving your valuable time here and giving your thoughts to the students and the faculty members from the various institutions.
Thank you, sir, and thank you all the participants. Yes, I take leave with the final note saying here that I'm really thankful for all the participants and the organizers of the programs for giving me this opportunity of reaching out to the masses, and hope the whatever I have covered would be beneficial to the people. Pardon me if I have been too straightforward for certain things, because generally I believe that I should speak what is required on the topic. Like, and I have given my point of views. Follow it if it touches you. If it doesn't, okay, you use your wisdom to do it. Yeah, behavioral aspect is an important topic, and that's one of my keys in the pharma industry, because what I realized is, while this pharma industry has been in the India for quite a long time, and things have been growing over a period of time, but the challenges have gone, and the industry has really not coped up to that level. And the real onus and the pressure is on the employees part of it now, because entrepreneurs are doing their job. They are hiring best of the machines, they're hiring the best of the consultants, like retired GMP expert and retired those kind of things, and the US FDA expert and those kind of things. They bring in to the best of the quality requirements, and those guidelines and those things are presented over the things. But those informations cannot become your behavior unless you are aligned to your own philosophy of life. And another thing is that you have to keep on challenging yourself to excel in life. If you're not challenging yourself, you can't excel in life. You need to keep on challenging yourself day in and day out, whether it's pharma or any other industry, but in pharma most, because pharma every day is a change. I don't know, from somewhere some observation will come, some will come, and suddenly you'll get a meeting call, and suddenly in that meeting you'll get a bashing that you did this, and because of this, now the process has to be like this, and this batch has to stop, and that batch has to stop, and the rework has to be done. Something of that sort keeps on happening, which is a day in and a day out kind of a pressure. If you can thrive in these kind of pressures and go back home smiling, and connecting to people socially, at the same time internally, thinking over the things, what went wrong and what you need to take care of, and what would be your checkpoints, then only you can excel in this industry. There's hell lot of opportunity to excel as an employee in the industry, so there is no limitation. The limitation is only your commitment to yourself. That's what it is. And goodbye for now. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for giving us opportunity to arrange this seminar over here. In the next session, we also would like to invite over here. Till then, all this audience and attendees, we are going to stop over here. But I will commit over here that soon, as early as possible, the next webinar we will telecast over the YouTube channel. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Goodbye.